I'm begging everybody in here, if you have daughters, get them in a martial arts
Oh my
class.
god, why are you beating up this girl in lingerie, bruv? What the fuck is happening on this game? Oh, you're
Sounds
the
like
girl in
misogyny
lingerie.
to me.
You're the girl in lingerie.
What?
Oh.
He's the girl in lingerie. That's not okay, Charlie. Get
That's
out. Get
That's
out.
something that the Chinese all say they do, by the way.
No. It's part of a Yakuza thing. Like, you're in a gang and it gives you, like, control over the other people in your gang. The girl in lingerie has got, like, one of them ball things with loads of spikes coming out of it. Like, she's doing some damage, you know. Oh, my God. Yeah, he just links up with these other people that are on the roads, and a lot of them happen to be, like, street girls. And what is that guy got that electric helmet on for, bruv?
This sounds so strange.
He's got it on his head, and my man's is
Bloody
fighting
hell,
it. So,
exhausted GCs is still going on.
oh my god, someone go and actually like see what's going on in there.
All right, I'm going. I'm gonna go.
Oh,
I'm gonna go and have a
alright.
look what the fuck's going on.
All right,
I'm
come
going
back
in.
though. Come
Going
back
in.
though and tell us, because
Yeah,
Chris
I'll
never came
come back.
That's been going on since like 10:30 this morning when Nina took her kids to school, Jade.
9 o'clock. It's 8:15 now, so it's been going on for 12 hours, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Are they not exhausted yet?
Are you trying to do some kind of poaching from that space to this one?
No, I'm not.
A long time, since the 90s, that this was going to be the way in which we moved towards this.
All right, it's like I can't stay in there, but Chris is still in there.
Oh my god, what was that? Oh shit!
That was
Belfast.
That was Belfast.
Spying in that space.
Talking about people who calling them about spicy straights, basically.
Belfast is a spicy straight. What's she talking about? Do you know what though? When they all come in here, when that space is over and they all come in here to continue the whinging, yeah, I'm gonna end the space. How about that? I'm gonna say something to Jade, but you know when you were talking about how like Iraq and that has been decimated and stuff, because it used to be like a really kind of like rich country, like that looked alright and that. And you know, if you contrast, you know, the pictures of Iraq how it used to be, and then Iraq now, which is like bombed and fucking burkas and shit, and Iraq how it used to be. If you like, because I see some of them posts going around on Twitter sometimes, yeah. But if you contrast that with what the people in England would do when they contrast how London used to be in the kind of like 70s, yeah, 60s, 70s, around the same time as Iraq and then London now. And the difference is the ethnicities of people, yeah, but everything still looks the same, right? But if you look contrasting the same pictures of Iraq, and I don't know where I'm going with this, but it's just something my mind is just stuck on.
It's not just Iraq, it's also Afghanistan.
Yeah, I know it is. I know it's just
like Iran as well. And I find that fascinating. And I remember putting a post up. I can't remember if it's this account or an old one.
Who's Spiky talking to?
A lot of people got affected by it.
Dina.
Oh, I can't hear it. I'm gonna drop down.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, a lot of religious guys who are Muslim were getting offended by him, thinking it's just a beach photo. That's a man, and there's a couple of family members. They're all in bikinis or swimsuit, and it could have been a beach in Brighton or wherever.
Yeah.
But they didn't like it.
I don't really know where my thoughts is going with this, but it's just interesting to me that the contrast between Iraq now and then and now, and then London then and now.
I think I think I kind of get where you're coming from. As people, like when they show Britain from the old days, want to go back to a time where everybody was white.
Yeah.
And that's probably what it is. But then if you look at the old pictures of people from the 60s, 50s and 60s, whatever colour they were, They dressed in the most immaculate way. But yeah, I kind of get where you're coming from, because when you look at Middle Eastern historical photos, you see the political changes and the
Yeah,
impact it's had. And I think
yeah,
it's come from, don't get me wrong, you know, that like the Shah, when he was around in Iran, he was not particularly nice,
mm,
but people did have kind of more freedoms than they do now. But with the Ayatollahs coming in, look what's been lost, especially for women and girls.
yeah.
I'm gonna go back
Mm.
in and see if it's still all about the spicy straits.
Okay, okay. No worries, Bobby. Off you go.
No, I'm not. I'm
Dina,
not. I'm
Bobby's on.
staying here. I'm just gonna mute. I'm just gonna mute you.
Oh, okay, okay, that's cool.
I mean, I could actually log on from a laptop and we can listen into that space if you want.
Higher.
Well,
And the medical professions, perception of being tired are very different. And
Can you hear
see,
that?
that was a little.
Did you hear that?
Yeah,
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 we can
yeah.
log
Do you
in.
want me to play it to you for a little bit so you can hear? A bit longer?
Maybe.
Okay, hang on a bit. Let me just put the mic back up on my phone.
because we entertain the relative. It's very different when you're dying. You're not going to get out. So I think if you're in your latter stages of life, then I don't see where that argument comes in. But there's definitely an argument that backs up lots of things. And there's very strict things for that reason. And I know some people object to that, but you know, it's a bit different in America because you're actually paying for it, so you've got a bit more leverage. But when you actually look at the outcomes of people in certain areas, in intensive care and stuff like that, it's very different from geographically.
Oh,
When you look around the
I
world.
would agree with you to a certain extent. What I do disagree with is the way in which nighttime nursing occurs. That's.
I don't know what they're talking about. Whether they're talking about.
You're talking about
I don't know what they're fucking talking about.
that space. It's called exhausted GCs.
Oh no, it's all right.
And then they sit there all night and exhaust themselves.
It's that time of year. That time of fucking year, and it's a really bad time of year as fucking well.
I'm
I
pretty
mean,
sure
I
they were
saw.
just talking about being exhausted from it's off the back of this stuff from GenSpect and everything.
Yeah, I know, but to be fair though, GenSpect isn't like a woman's organisation. Like, clues in the name. GenSpect, gender inspection. Like, I don't understand why. I don't get it.
If straight women particularly can find the courage when they're having this conversation with other people to turn around and say, do you know what, there's an awful lot of lesbians that talk to me about this and they are sick to death of this.
Sorry, I just wanted to come in and say, Stopline was just sending me a message about the hospitals. They're not supposed to have mixed sex wards in Australia, but when she was going to hospital one time, they were going to just put her in with a guy. Like, they're not supposed to do it, but apparently they're just doing mixed sex wards.
That's part of the training that the likes of, it's not the same, it's not called Stonewall over there, but the Stonewall, they're sort of like, you know, whatever you're gay, I think is it ACOG or something like that, I can't remember, but whatever you're gay, each country's got whatever their gay, what used to be their LGB orgs are, they're now, training some of these people. So what you're ending up with is exactly the same as they did with I think it was the Equality Act in the UK when I was working at the Department of Work and Pensions. And because there's, guilt from the past and all this, and people are frightened of being accused of homophobic, that we're stuck in this position where, the majority of people are too feared to stand up. And lesbians, why is it so many older lesbians the ones standing up?
Well, I mean, just to let you know, I do stick up for the lesbians, well, and the gay guys, but and I don't know how many times a week I get called homophobic, but I genuinely couldn't give two fucks. I'll keep shouting.
Hey, Nate, what do you think?
I was just going to call Amanda out. She's a total dyke lover.
Well, what do you expect? I've got a dyke that follows me everywhere, apparently, and she's attracted to me because of my male criminal behavioural traits, apparently.
You know what's really annoying, Amanda, is that what they fail to see is, one, and I hope Stop Lying doesn't mind me saying this, Stop Lying's actually an intelligent woman. Do you not think she's figured that out for herself? Something to do with the fact that you're married and love your husband and have 4 kids. That, did people just forget about that? Because
I know, but it's not
detail.
even me that gets the blame, though. It's pure Stop Lying, and I'm like, she is not only an intelligent woman, right? But what are you trying to say, that lesbians fancy every single woman that walks this earth? I think people think I'm a big hoe.
Because there are some like feminist stroke women's rights libs people, women's rights people who they say stuff that in my book is homophobic. I've always had gay male friends. Yeah, totally agree. There are a lot of very fucking misogynistic gay men, but not all gay men are. And I think that, maybe if we can know, okay, who is and who isn't. Because I've also seen a lot of people do this thing of oh, well, if you've cut your tits off, then fuck you. You don't belong in womanhood anymore.
You know what? Prisha tweeted something. Prisha, the detransitioner. She tweeted
she's
something
lovely.
that people need to be a lot more careful with their words, because every trans person is a future
could be exactly.
Well, we have detransitioners in our spaces frequently, and I'm not going to call them out because I'm sure we forget. And
honestly, I think 80% of women.
I've seen someone we love a lot talk about, what is a man in a dress, and it's a regressive question, but what it has exposed to me is that we never had this conversation in the first place.
Yeah.
And that is what bothers me, is we need to have
can't.
a much more exploratory conversation about what does it mean if a man wants to wear this clothing when he's doing this and this and this and that and that and that and that, and what does it mean? What is the difference between a boy doing it and a man doing it? Because there is, and we all can feel it in our bones.
You can't say in one breath that boys that wearing a dress aren't a girl and that's acceptable, but then that boy is going to grow into a man.
Exactly, and I think we need to have that larger conversation, because we can feel that there's a difference between a boy and a man wearing a dress, but we cannot verbalize what that difference is.
Why don't we do a space dress on Friday night or something, or Saturday night?
I think it's too early. I'd say rather a week down the line.
The real danger of here of being painted as homophobic, as gay, being against gay males is a problem, because I've seen other women try to lead this conversation, and I'm sitting there going, oh my God.
Thing is, though, if we're talking about it in that vein, we're saying it's situational. A man wearing a dress in your local Tesco, doing his shopping, paying no one any attention, is absolutely harmless and should be fine, and no one should have a problem with that. But a man in the women's toilets, or in women's changing rooms, trying on women's clothes.
But no, we have to peel it back. Is it actually okay that there's a man in Tesco walking around doing his shopping, or is he living out his fetish?
Okay, I love picking fights. I think it's a pointless conversation.
Right.
I think it's pointless. I think there's no point. I think that generally you can't even draw these lines because it's so abstract and situational. And what are we going to start trying to put through laws saying men can't wear dresses?
People can turn anything into a fetish. Literally anything.
Literally anything. Ties, shirts, types of fabric, socks, G-strings.
Yes, but this conversation branches into other things, though. And 2 things. One, we get into the culture of gay men.
Oh, I think that's too controversial. The gay
Yeah, I
the gay
know.
men
I
would not
know. I
appreciate
know.